Welcome back, guys, and once again we're doing some Dauntless Beginner Guide series today, talking about the Thunderdeep Drask, who's pretty annoying actually, since it's a kind of noob filter for you guys maybe, and also it was for me back then in the progress. But nowadays, it's more of a piece of a cake. So yeah, let's talk about some stuff first, cause the gear. The gear, as we might talked about earlier, is going to be Ember main and Ember main weapons. By your choice, of course. I'm in here with the axe as usual, and of course you can do this with any other weapon and any other set as well. As I'm personally just like Ember main overall with Fury and Berserk, but you might okay with Storm Spike, Stormclaw and Moonweaver as well, since Moonweaver is pretty fast in swiftness and Stormclaw actually got those shock resistances going for you. But basically, yeah, Thunderdeep Drask is kind of a noob filter, as I mentioned. If we cut it down to some basics, it's actually pretty easy. Like, some people have really problems struggling with the boss, its mechanics itself. Like this one, for example, or the start when I showed off, that actually dodging the tail is the most difficult part at the game at the moment, since it's buggy as hell. That's why it's a noob filter. So yeah, let's watch some bugs, let's watch some gameplay and comment it, since like they can change basically the whole behemoth when they're gonna release it, but I hope they won't. Since this is only the beta, if you watch this later, don't be shy to let me know in the comments that this video is outdated, so I can then make a new one. But yeah, what can this behemoth do? What will he do? What does he try to do? He's trying actually to hit you with his Ether Rage as well as normal rage, and both are pretty critical since he's going to be moving really fast in these stages of the fight. In my opinion, the safest spot to be is probably the stomach, or what I call it, the body in this game, since you can easily dodge everything he's doing with one simple button click, and of course blades can do this as well with their Q animation, their special attack. The other thing is, if you're standing here, you don't risk of getting hit by his tail or his claws itself, since you can first of all see everything he's trying to do, since he will always, around the stomach he will always try to move around, so you can initiate certain, or you at least think ahead and initiate certain things of him. The other crucial part is that his claws are actually pretty insane, where if you stand right next to them, in front of them or behind them, and not in between them at the body, you will get triggered by him using his spin around, his claws, and so on and so on. Of course, when he's in Ether range, most definitely likes to interrupt you even before moving, meaning that it's even harder to dodge something away. The other part is, like as I mentioned, you could basically stand in front of the claws as well, but as long as he tries to do his flip like this, he will actually do the claw attack, basically the claw movement at first, and then try to rotate on the spot, where the claws will then interrupt you before you can even make your iframe, make use of your iframe basically, so you can then still dodge. The other thing is, if you're standing in front of the claws, like I said, he has actually an attack that you can dodge by just standing there, since he's as big as he is, and he will actually hit above you through the air and won't touch you. But that's kind of, to figure that out by yourself, where to stand exactly, since it's kind of a millimeter action, and also his glitch can prevent this from happening. The next thing you really want to look forward to is dodging those aimbot stuffs, as well as getting some revive talismans with you instead of the shock resistance potions, for like those situations where he tries to shoot you or even EMP you with his AoE ability, which pretty much one-shots you all the time, no matter which gear you're wearing. In terms of progress, as long as you don't wear any overpowered gear, he will probably one-shot you with those abilities. So that's why I'm using talisman in this of course. The other thing is, I'm using a healing lantern for sure, since can get paralyzed without any other heal supplies or vampire aspects like hunger. It's kind of impossible to gain your health back without any other regions like heal lantern. So that's why I choose heal over cleanse lantern or a shield lantern. The other thing is that his kit is pretty easy to dodge. As you can see, those are just those 4 attacks, where when you would focus the tail or the head, those rotations would be quite difficult to dodge actually, since his nose and his tail are kind of triggering with the iframe and sometimes work, sometimes doesn't. So it's pretty safe to say that stomach or body, as we should call it, as I told you, is probably the best spot to be in this fight. Of course, you can do this in many various situations. Like if you found something new, something that's shareable, of course, let me know in the comments, or you got any suggestions on how to play this, how to slay this behemoth, just let me know. And of course, who wants to cut the tail for some new movement rotations can do that as well. But keep in mind, if it's so big, if you cut the tail, you probably kill it in the progress without even cutting the tail before. At least in my opinion, at least in my experience, it was like that. So I rather suggest you go for body hits and try to kill him as fast as you can before he even enriches you. Well guys, thanks for watching, and thanks of course for supporting YouTube. Leave it a like if you learned something, and of course don't hesitate to visit me in my stream. Till the next video guys, see ya.